Hey there, moms. If you're tired of feeling overwhelmed and stressed about how you're going to feed your family, then you're in the right place. I'm going to be walking you through our current mealtime routine and how I keep our family of four on track with our meals and keep our meals tasty, balanced, and enjoyable. In this video, I'll be laying out some tips that have made a big difference for me, and I think that they'll help you too. Stick around. Hi, I'm Andrea and welcome to the Grit and Grace Mom channel. Today we're talking about meal prep. A question that I get asked is, what's my meal planning routine? How do I prep for a family of four? And that's a great question. Meal planning is something that I've always understood the value of, but I've actually always struggled to do well. I'm just going to be honest and say I am not a born organized person. This is something that hasn't come naturally to me. It's something I've really had to work to learn. Name a variation of meal planning or meal prep and I've probably tried it. But it was all that trial and error that has led me to our current meal prep routine. And I can say, and I'm not trying to brag, but I can say that the last time we had an unplanned drive-through run was probably at least 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago. So I'm gonna walk you through our current meal prep routine that we've been doing for about the past year and a half. It's working pretty well. For context, we are a family of four. We have two kids, ages 10 and 8. We homeschool and I manage 3 businesses from home. My husband works full-time and he's in school part-time. So we have a lot going on. We have a lot of balls that we're juggling. But with the tips that I'm gonna lay out in this video, we've landed on a routine that kind of keeps our meals going pretty smoothly and everyone comes to the table at about 5:30 or 6 o'clock every night, almost every night, ready to enjoy a delicious meal together. Let me walk you through our current routine. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, we do very simple meals. Usually it's something pulled out of the freezer. I'm gonna share a little bit more about one of my favorite tips, which is freezer cooking, a little bit later in this video. But Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, we keep it pretty simple. Thursdays is Kids' Choice Night. One of the obstacles to meal prep and meal planning in a family is sometimes kids can be pretty picky. Well, one way around kids being picky eaters is to involve them in the planning process. If a kid chooses the meal, a kid's more likely to eat the meal. So that's what we do on Thursday nights. And then Fridays is, depending on what's going on in the week, Friday could be clean out the fridge night, it could be takeout night, or it could be a night where I get to be a little bit more creative in the kitchen. I happen to love cooking. I know not every mom does, but it is something I really enjoy, but I don't always have the time to really experiment and get creative the way I like to. But Friday is where I get the space to do that. And I'll link to a couple of my favorite websites that I like to pull recipes from. But that's when I get to experiment and do something a little bit more elaborate. That's our current routine and it has been serving us really well. We have dinner on the table almost every night between about 5:30 and 6 o'clock. It runs pretty smoothly. Everyone eats it. This routine is serving us pretty well in this season of life. So some tips that have really helped us land on this routine that's working so well. Tip number 1, and I wish someone had shared with this, I wish I had understood this way before, but that is begin with your calendar in mind. Before you make your meal plan for the week, you want to sit down with your calendar and see what you actually have going on that week. That's going to inform how many meals you actually need to make, as well as how much time you have to make those meals. I'll give you a few examples. If you have a late meeting, if you have a doctor's appointment at 4 o'clock, and you want to have dinner at 5:30 or 6, that's not the time to start making your mother-in-law's lasagna. That is the time to pull something out of the freezer and just reheat it real quick. Perfect is pretty, done is beautiful. My first tip is begin with your calendar. My second tip is use your freezer. This has been such a game changer for me. I've been doing freezer meal prep consistently for about a year and a half now, and it has freed up so much time. In fact, I don't think I would be doing this YouTube channel if I hadn't discovered freezer meals. If you're not familiar with freezer meals, what freezer meals are, you prep a meal, you chop all the veggies, you chop all the meat, you get the sauce in, and you put it into a bag in the freezer, and then when you need it, you pull it out, and you put it into an Instant Pot or a crock pot or an oven, but all the prep work is done for you. It's a huge time saver, not only because of all the prep work is done, but it's also a time saver in the fact that there's way less dishes to be done. Pretty much when you're done with dinner, the only dishes you have are the dishes you ate off of and the crock pot or the Instant Pot. I don't know if you can see the crock pot in the background, but we're having a freezer meal tonight because it's Monday. And we're having pasta e fagioli while I'm on this video talking to you. Tip number 2 is freezer meals. I'll link to a few of my favorite freezer meal resources in the description below. These are gals who have put together some amazing freezer meal guides, but freezer meals have been a huge game changer. And then tip number 3 is to involve the kids with cookbooks. A while back, I took the time to invest into some cookbooks, some beautiful kids cookbooks. I like pulling recipes from the internet as much as your next girl, but kids are very visual and they're very tactile. So something about the book, about them paging through the book and all of the pictures, they get to choose something that they want to try. The kids actually look forward to it. They enjoy being involved. They know, that way they know they have at least one meal that week that they're gonna like. Those are some tips that have been big game changers for me. And this is our current routine. It is serving us well in this season. It provides a good amount of stability for the kids. We kind of have that rotation of freezer meals. We rotate through the same 10 or 20 meals. And it provides enough variety for me. I get the weekends to play around if I want to. What are some of your favorite meal planning, meal prep routines? I'd love to hear what your routine is. Go ahead and drop a comment below. If you're looking for more resources on how to meal plan for a family, I've got another video coming up next. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you